Yeah, this is like...
Right, this is a good book.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
this
guy has got some talent.
Really does. Oh, we're on.
Oh, excuse me. Hello.
Hello, we are on. So, hello, everyone. Bill Apter for OneWrestling.com, and welcome to an Apter chat out of nowhere.
That's right.
What I usually do, Gary, is I usually post the link on on Facebook and Twitter as we're doing this, and I didn't do it this time. So we already have several people coming in here.
Well, hello
so
there.
As I promised you people that, and this is where we're looking now. You can't look at yourself.
No, no matter what I look like, how gorgeous I look, I can't. Exactly.
Yes. So I mentioned to you that we would have a, hey, Troy, I mentioned that we would have an Apter chat out of nowhere with, people are coming into the room now.
Well, welcome. Just, don't just wipe your feet first.
So, so we have one of the former editors of Pro Wrestling Illustrated with us here. And what years did you work at PWI?
78 to 82.
Yeah, it was quite a long run, and then you were replaced by Craig Peters.
If I could be replaced, but that's
so. Well, that is true. So we're going to do. No, it's not the real Mr. Wrestling #2. Although you can speak like the real.
I can. Well, I do that.
Let me hear you talk like Mr. You sound like Ralph Cramden.
Are you going to the moon, Tommy Rich?
Exactly. Because this is not the meal. This is not the real Mr. Wrestling 2. As I mentioned, I was going to have one of the former PWI editors right here live with me.
That's right.
On the Apter chat. So it's time for him to unmask.
Are you ready?
Wait, let's show them your shirt, by the way, first. Open that. Yeah. What year was that?
This is from, like 5 years ago. This is when I worked at Sci-Fi Channel.
So we're going to have you unmask, and then we'll get the whole story. Ladies and gentlemen, the reveal.
Here I am. I don't even know who I am anymore.
He doesn't.
I was in that mask for 40 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
lost my makeup.
I want to introduce you to, and turn your chair this way.
Yes, I will.
So we can talk to each other.
Yes,
so I want to introduce you to someone who's one of my dearest personal friends.
Yes.
Like Joe Franklin. Google him. He used to say he's a wonderful man, but he was a former editor of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and now he's on to even bigger things. Yes. This is Gary Morgenstein. And
hello, everyone.
And tell them about the column that you wrote.
Yes.
For PWI. Actually, it was Inside Wrestling.
It was Inside Wrestling. Yeah. It was The Wrestler. It was, of course, I was at the launch of Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
You were.
And I wrote my Morgie column, as I was myself, Gary Morgenstein.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And then what
was the name of that column?
It was On the Road.
On the Road.
And then I was also Matt Brock.
At times.
At times I was Matt Brock.
Well, these people don't know the story.
Matt Brock was a venerable, grizzled, semi-complete lush editor-writer who had no boundary, nothing PC. And for many years, we would alternate. Whoever was fortunate enough to be working on the wrestling magazines would be his alter ego.
See, this is a total different story because, as you people know, I still, even though Stu Sachs revealed it, I still keep in storyline that Matt was sitting up at the top of every Madison Square Garden show.
He might have been.
You might have been.
That you might have been drinking
but
a lot before you went to the show.
He was drunk so many times he couldn't write, so we would dispatch
we needed someone to
other people to take on his personality.
Yes.
But now a lot of people, and I really, thank you, T.N. Kupner, for tweeting this out. Also, if you go on Facebook and share that too, I'd appreciate that. But a lot of people don't know that before you started with the magazines, Gary Morgenstein was not a wrestling fan, was he?
No, I would do it, a little bit. I'd watch wrestling. I always loved the wonderful entertainment value.
You can talk to me.
And could I talk to you on this? Fine. Because I don't want you to,
relax.
slap me or something.
Go ahead.
You see, I knew this would happen. I made a mistake.
He wants the belt.
Yes.
No, tell us about.
Because wrestling is the most wonderful entertainment.
Yeah.
And we were back in the day. We were in the Vince Senior day. This was before Junior. So this was, wrestling was a lot less politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
You could say things that you could never say now. You would have stereotypes that you could never get away with now.
When you say stereo, it sounds like steroid.
Well, steroid, but no, it was stereo. I mean, you could do things back then, and it had a wonderful simplicity.
Yeah.
And wonderful entertainment and magic to it.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I really
And
did.
yet back when he started, if you use the word entertainment in the world of pro wrestling, that was totally taboo. Vince Sr. and Vince Jr. were so totally different.
Yes.
In that form. So how did you get the job at PWI?
I answered an ad.
Yeah.
There was a Newsday.
Stu Sachs put it in.
No, I got Stu Sachs's job. I hope he credits me. Yes. Peter King.
Oh, right.
This was the Peter King era.
Yes.
And I answered an ad, and I did a sample
story. What was it?
It was something. It might have been Ivan Koloff.
Okay.
And because I had a journalism background,
yes,
because I'd been working at Newsday and the Cincinnati Post before that, I would put in like someone's age. And then Peter said, "Well, the story's good, but you never use it."
You can't use age. No.
So it's funny the things that we did, but it was great working with all the wrestlers, and I love.
Well, now little by little, you started learning, and I think a lot of this from me because I was the guy out in the field. Well, you were
the living legend, yes.
No, stop. But when I was the guy out in the field that would come back and say, "Well, this wrestler told us this.
Yes.
This wrestler, I brought the information." Yes.
Yes. That was the nuggets, and we put it together.
Yeah.
And then we put your wonderful photos together.
Yeah.
And then we come up with the headlines.
Yeah.
And we come up with the stories.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that every Friday at about right after lunchtime, we sat around the editor's desk and we came up with headlines for the stories. So you wrote wrestling for how many years?
Almost 4 years.
Yeah. And what did you when you left the wrestling publishing business? What did you come away with? That
the nicest people.
Yeah.
It's just so fun because it's an industry where people are supposed to be like rough and violent, and you're never going to find nicer athletes in the world than professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
They are gentlemen.
Who are now they're sports entertainers.
They were just they're just class acts. And then many years later, I went to Sci-Fi Channel in public relations, and I handled the publicity for SmackDown.
Now you see this really
is the irony of
this
it all.
shocked me because Gary wanted to move on out of wrestling publishing at that point, and he winds up as the publicist for Sci-Fi Network.
The sister network. So USA did Raw, still does Raw, and Sci-Fi does SmackDown. It was Friday, then moved to
Thursday.
And
you wound up on that account.
Yes, and so I would go up to Stanford.
Did anyone in Sci-Fi know about your background?
As soon as I told them I was wrestling, my background, you could handle it.
Really? Now, what about? So you were up at Titan Towers several times. I didn't know.
Yes.
How often were you up there?
Like several times.
So who were some of the people that you?
It was Vince.
Yeah. Did you actually meet with Vince?
Yes.
And what was Vince like when you met?
He was, Vince was Vince.
Yeah.
Vince Jr. was, he's very. There's a solemnness and a wry sense of humor.
Yeah.
He's in charge.
To me too.
He's in charge, and you get a lot of swag, which was also great.
Yeah.
I still have my iPod player.
You do?
The stereo. Great. Yes, I still have it from WWE.
I always found that he had two sides. He had that great personality side, and then when you got down to business, it was strictly business.
Yes. Oh, he's a tough businessman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I would always hear stories about Vince is raking us over the coals with negotiations.
Yeah. Well, that's what.
But as he should.
I mean, look where they're at now.
Well, look
on the stock market and everything.
It's staggering what Vince McMahon did with professional wrestling.
Oh,
it was genius what he did.
He became, as we put in the magazines, the Walt Disney of professional
Absolutely. It was brilliant what he saw the future, and he saw that time what Vince Sr. did, he built it. And so you don't exclude.
Yeah.
But there was a foundation.
Absolutely.
But then Vince said, okay, it can only go so long like that. And we need to embrace it, and then of course with Hulk Hogan, and with Andre blossoming and everyone.
And WrestleMania, which was the biggest gamble of his life.
Yes.
So now from the Sci-Fi Network, where did you go from there?
Sci-Fi was my last full-time job.
Right,
a couple of years ago.
You worked for Lifetime too.
I worked for Lifetime.
You worked for the company that puts out the best chick flicks. And I still watch them.
Yes, do you? Well,
even when my wife is not watching them, I still find I get stuck in those movies.
Well, I love science fiction, and I love sci-fi.
Yeah, you love sci-fi. So once you left sci-fi, you kind of went freelance writer.
Yes.
But while you were still working, or right after you were working for us, you had a baseball book out, which I have a copy of.
Yes. This is my first novel.
Show everybody.
This is my first novel. And look, I don't know if we could get a picture of
this. Now, why was it?
Look at this.
Oh, yeah. Why was it take me out of the ball game instead of take me out to the wrestling arena?
Well, because it was a baseball.
Look at that. No, I know that.
And there I am.
But there is young Gary Morgenstern.
We
will answer your questions, by the way.
Yes, and I was not born with gray hair. And I used to have a beard. And Bill said, I used to love your beard. And I said, well, my beard would be all gray now.
Yeah. So no, I need to get gray blending down. I'm getting complaints. So you wrote that book, and after that,
then I wrote another baseball novel.
Right. And then you wrote a play, which I came to see about a year or so ago.
Yes.
Tell them about that.
Yes. My sci-fi musical was called Mad Mel Saves the World.
Yes.
And we're developing that musical.
I saw it in New York.
Yes. It was a lot of fun. Yes. We had a good time. Yeah. And then the past 2 years, I've been working on my science fiction baseball novel.
So Gary now has a science fiction baseball novel, as he just said, out in bookstores. And why don't you show him the book?
I'm here. Look at this. This is it. It's 517. Wait.
We're PG, by the way. It's a mound over heck.
Yes. And it's set in the year 2098 when America has lost World War III.
Wow.
And baseball begins its final season ever.
That's like scary.
It is scary. Yes.
So in 2098.
Yes. We've lost World War III.
And the last season of baseball forever. After the ravages of World War III, which I hope never happens.
Yes, so do I.
This has to stay fiction. The once all-American sport is now synonymous with terrorism and treason. That's scary. Yes. How did your old wrestling and sci-fi mind come up with this?
2 years ago, I was having Sunday breakfast with my wife in Brooklyn, the center of the known
universe.
Yes,
ladies, he is not available.
No, I'm sorry.
That's why he wears the mask.
Well, but make me an offer. But no. Oh, now I'm in big trouble when my wife says this. Yes. And we're listening to the Beatles, and we're eating everything bagels with a schmear.
Right.
And this idea popped into my head for a novel.
A schmear, by the way, is a schmear of cream cheese.
Yes. Sorry. We need an interpreter for my input. Yes. And baseball's last season ever in a dystopian world led by someone named Grandma. And I said, okay, so what does that mean? This is a very cool idea. What happens after that? Yeah. So I said, okay, so if we lose World War III, who would we lose World War III to? If we lose it to the Russians, that's very much a Cold War. That's boring.
Okay.
We lose it to the Chinese, that's boring.
Okay.
But what about if we lose it to radical Islam? What about ISIS? Imagine ISIS taking over the world.
Again, this is not.
This is what if.
This is fiction.
Yes, this is what people in science fiction do.
The book.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
Keep talking.
So we have a new world, and baseball, which is thought of as the era when America was great and a world power, becomes synonymous with that discredited era, because this is, we got being hubris and being an American and got us into this problem in the first place. But baseball returns and comes back.
So you got to get this book. Now I want to put an idea in your head.
Yes.
Because you were in this niche business of pro wrestling for so many years. I think it's time to do a sci-fi based pro wrestling.
Well, that's a great idea.
I really do.
I do. I think it's a wonderful idea. And why don't we do it? Why don't we do it together?
For example, there's a book. You heard that.
Wait, this book? This is a great book. I love this book.
I didn't know it was broken, but thank you. There's a book by Box Brown, which is a graphic novel here that he did on Andre the Giant.
Yes.
And he did
one on knock everything.
Kaufman.
It's all going to fall down.
So we're not going to show that, obviously. But a great premise, I think, to do is something to do with and I love sci-fi. I told you last night I saw a thriller movie.
Yeah.
What is it called again?
Quiet Room, Quiet Time.
Go see The Quiet Room if you like to get scared. It's really good. But as you know, that couldn't be the story of my life. Mine would be the noisy room all the time. But I think I want to put you on the spot here that maybe, and I would help you with this gladly. We could commit to doing a project where sci-fi meets
wrestling,
pro wrestling.
Yes, that would be good. That's a very good idea. I like that, because when you go to sports in the future, often in science fiction, what's happened is it's either been like rollerball, like a made-up sport usually, and there's almost never baseball in science fiction because they think baseball is too slow to make it to the future. But wrestling, some version of wrestling in a future world would be very interesting.
Do you think baseball is too slow? Aren't they doing things now to speed it up
I
a
don't
bit?
think so. I love baseball, and I'm a purist. But this new generation, the younger people want it to be quicker. But then it's not going to be baseball.
You're a Yankee, right?
Yes, I'm a Yankee fan. But everyone's a baseball. As long as you love baseball, I don't care. Right. They said a recent poll said 56% of sports fans never watch baseball anymore, which is sad.
Wow.
So it's it's losing its appeal. I don't know how many baseball fans we have out there, but support the sport.
Yeah, please do. So show the book again.
Yes.
And let's just take a look and see if there are any comments before we sign off. This again is Gary Morgenstein, former editor of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Do you remember any of your PWI stories that were really outrageous? Because we were like the National Enquirer of pro wrestling.
Well, I remember we did a photo. We selected a photo of Andre the Giant.
Right.
And we came up with the headline, The Secret Agony of Andre the Giant. And then I wrote a story in his dressing room, alone with Andre, complaining about his grandfather.
And who's bigger than he?
Yes.
Actually, yeah.
And that was a great story. That was a very poignant story.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So my buddy MD Song, Tony, he lives out in the Midwest there. He says, hi, Bill, it's Tony. Hey, Tony, give Tony
Hey, Tony, how are you?
He says, I still feel that PWI should have followed Japan's weekly pro wrestling magazines, meaning PWI. Well, we did a PWI weekly for a while. Were you at the company when we were doing that?
I think that was after.
Okay. By the way, you were the person that came right after you was, and we've had him here on the Apter Chat several times, was Craig Peters.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've never met him in person yet.
Just by phone.
We're going to get them together
today.
There's going
to be
I will take
a steel
picture.
cage match. There might be.
I want to be one of the outside the ring referees.
Yes.
You never know.
You don't know.
We're going to wreck a pizza place.
Yes.
All right. Let's see if there's any. MD Song said, seen that book all over the stores in the Twin Cities. Your book.
Yes.
Tony, are you talking about Gary's book, A Mound Over Hell? TN Couponer says, interesting book. I'd like for a man-woman tournament like the NCAAs. I don't think that'll ever happen. Mr. Couponer says, Atlanta Braves fan.
Oh, yes. Go for it. Love baseball. That's all that matters.
The Phillies are doing great.
The Phillies are really well, yes.
They're doing really well.
Yankees are doing great. Yes.
Well, so in the meantime, again, the book is A Mound Over Hell. And
get it anywhere. Yeah, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, go to your local bookstore.
Yeah, and please, since we're doing this live, please share this link once I send it out later this afternoon on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And where can people find you on social media?
Ed Writer Gary on Twitter, and just my Facebook, whatever my name is, Gary Morgenstein.
Spell your last name.
Morgenstein.
Okay.
And then Instagram, the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm on Instagram.
So plans for the future now, beside us
writing our book.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm finishing book 2. This is a book series.
Oh, so you're working on the second?
1.
Okay.
So the book ends to be continued. So I'm writing book 2 now.
Wow.
Yes.
How many books are you going to do?
I don't know. It could be like maybe 5.
Yeah, you've been obsessed with baseball since you were a kid.
I grew up in the Bronx. That's why I talk like this.
Well, I did too.
I know we did. I know, yes.
But what was your very first baseball experience?
My father took me to a game in 1961. I was tiny.
Yankee Stadium?
Yankee Stadium. Yeah. Doubleheader. First game, Yankees, Roger Maris got thrown out at home plate in the bottom of the 9th, and we lost. Wow. And then I had to go see some stupid relatives with plastic-covered couches.
Tony just said, hi, Gary. Seen it at Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble out here.
Well, we love it. Thank you.
Let me have that book for a second.
Yes.
This book, by the way, is on Walmart's website, but you can't get this in Target or the other department stores. And would you mind handing me that magazine? As he wrecks everything in my office. This is based out of England, and it's the only print wrestling magazine that I still work for. I do a monthly column called the Apter Files, and as you can see, this is a very classy, well done.
Look at this, yes.
Oh, well, look at the centerfold.
Well, we're not allowed to show this. Gail Kim,
we can show.
Can you show Gail Kim?
She's, as we say in New York, she's gorgeous. Right. She's an unquestionably look outside on the cover. But yet, don't forget Total Wrestling Magazine while we're talking about that. And you can follow me on beapter@onewrestling.com. That's my email address, or on Apter One Wrestling on Twitter, or hit me up on Facebook. And point while I'm ending the stream here. There we go.
Yes. Bye, guys.
And girls.